at Song Mentor. Today's rockin' selection is Jumpin' Jack Flash. It was recorded as a single in 1968 and really was a little bit of a rerouting of the Rolling Stones back into the sort of rock blues and away from the psychedelia that they had experimented with in their previous two LPs. The Jack part of it is said to have come from Keith Richards, a country home gardener whose name was Jack, and I guess he was a pretty active guy jumping around. He woke him up one morning, and so they referred to him as Jumpin' Jack. But Mick Jagger has said that the song is about sort of breaking out of that acid mode that they were in for the psychedelic albums prior to releasing this single, Jumpin' Jack Flash. One of their most popular songs. Here's the Rolling Stones, Jumpin' Jack Flash. Alrighty, Jumpin' Jack Flash. You know, I debated this one because so many of the lessons that are on the internet are in standard tuning, you know. Sounds okay. But you know what? We're going to do it the right way. And in some ways it's going to end up making it easier to play, and in other ways a little bit more difficult. You'll see when we get to that, but we're going to switch our guitar right now, and I'm going to do it with you just to facilitate this. I'm going to retune mine as well, because we've done a few songs in the past in open D tuning, and some of the Keith Richards stuff is in different tunings. This is in open E flat tuning. So essentially what we're going to do here is we're going to make all the strings either E flat or B flat. So we're going to start out with the low E string, the 6th string, and we're going to put our finger on the 6th fret of the 5th string. That's an E flat note. And then by ear, we're going to tune the low string so they're an octave apart. You can hear they're the same note now. Then we're going to work on the A string next, and we're going to tune the A string to B flat. So that means this note. There's a B flat. I'm going to tune my A up to that. I'm going to listen to that. I've got those two tuned. The D, I'm going to tune up to an E flat. And I can just octave it with the 6th string. Sounds good right there. The G string I'm going to tune down so that it is also an E flat. It's just going to match it. It's going to be like a 12 string here. We're going to match the 4th string and the 3rd string are to be identical. Pretty close there. Again, this B is going to be a B flat. We've already got a B flat here. So we're going to match the 2nd string with the 5th string. And then finally our E is also, high E is also going to become an E flat. Now that's going to be pretty darn close. You got to play around with that to get it right. Watch what happens when I bar the 7th fret. Just take your first finger and put it across, make a bar. Okay, now that needs a bit of fine tuning. We're not quite done yet. Starting to get it. I think we're pretty close. And that's just me fine-tuning that. Listen to this now. How good is that? That's how it's supposed to sound. So I hope you took your time and did that with me. Play around with it to get it right. Bar the 7th fret. And that sounds pretty darn close. If you have a guitar that's seriously out intonation-wise as you move up the neck, that's a whole separate issue. You probably need to find a lesson on checking and fixing intonation, put some fresh strings on it, tighten the intonation so that it is right, because when you go to use these alternate tunings, if the intonation's out, you can just never get it quite right. But I'm happy with that. All right, let's begin with the intro then. And of course this open E-flat tuning makes playing these chords simplistic. The tricky thing, if there is a tricky thing, will be the rhythm, and we'll talk about that in a sec, the strumming pattern if you like. But all we're going to do is bar the 7th fret, first finger straight across the 7th fret, and then we're going to play open, and then the 5th fret. So the pattern goes 7th, open, 5th, 7th, open, 5th. If you're more comfortable with a different finger barring, that's fine. I prefer, because I'm used to barring with the first index finger. Watch it! Okay. Let's talk about that all-important rhythm and strumming, and we'll slow it right down here. For a verse. Okay, well, next on the agenda is the really familiar chop that plays throughout the verses, and we're going to play it like this. So what I'm doing is I have my 3rd finger across the 7th fret of the 5th and 6th strings. 2 down picks on the 6 and 5 strings, and then with my 1st and 3rd fingers now, I'm playing on the 5th string, fret 5, fret 7, 5, 7, and then I'm playing the 5th fret of the 5th and 4th strings together, the pair, with my 1st finger. So it's just knowing what that rhythm is, and we're all pretty familiar with that. Okay, and just remember when you're playing this in a band, of course you've got other guitars playing, you've got a bass line filling things in, percussion, the whole works, but that's the riff you're going to play through the verses. Okay, you remember me saying earlier that the open tuning is going to make it easier and harder. Well, so far it's made it nothing but easier. And the same is true for most of this next section, which is the chorus. And we're going to use that same bar that we've been using all along. We're just going to move it around a little bit from fret to fret. And what's the difficult part that is a little bit tricky is some of this the little additionals, the embellishments with the pinky finger, and I'll show you that in just a sec. But for starters, what you need to know is that the chorus is 10th fret, 5th fret, 12th fret, 7th fret. So it's like this. that's the progression. It's all right now. In fact, it's a guess, but it's all right. Jumping jack flash, it's a guess, guess, guess. Back into that. Okay, now here's the embellishment part, and this is, I'm hearing this in the song, and it's kind of fun to do this, but it's tricky. You don't have to do this. You can get away with it. That raw sound, that's a Stones sound, man. Okay, so here's the embellishment. Okay, so I'm barring the 10th fret, and with my pinky I'm playing 14th fret, and then with my third finger 12th fret. Same thing at the 5th fret. That's pretty hard to do. That's getting into stretch zone there, because you got to go from the 9th fret pinky. The pinky has to play the 9th fret, and the third finger has to play the 7th fret. Then when you get up to the 12th fret, it's a little easier because we're going on to the 2nd string now, and we only have to go up to the 15th and the 14th fret, so we can still use our pinky and our third finger. And the same thing on the 7th fret. The only really hard one is the 5th fret one, where you got to bend that pinky up, stretch that pinky up to the 9th fret. Okay, so those are embellishments on those chords during the chorus. Again, you don't have to do them. You can get along with. All right, you know, those are the 3 components to the song. We're ready for a playthrough. What's wrong with me? Watch it! I was born in a crossfire hurricane, and I howled at my mom in the driving rain. But it's all right now. In fact, it's a guess, but it's all right. Jumping jack flash, it's a gas, gas, gas. All right, well, there are the important bits of the song, and the only thing I should tell you is that the closing of the song is the same as the intro, except we've got that vocal over top of it. Jumping jack flash, it's a gas. Jumping jack flash, it's a gas. Jumping jack flash, it's a gas. Like that. And then a lot of little picky things in it, of course, that the Stones are kind of famous for, all that picking around that they were doing. Similar to those embellishments that I showed you for the chorus. So that's the song. E-flat drop tuning. I highly recommend trying the song this way, just for the fun of it. All right. See you later, Mick. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.